Okay, so we're going to save this now because I want a new page, but I don't want to start all over again, so I'm just going to call this one save as and coffeedetails.html. I don't know why, but I'm going to go down and choose HTML just so that it looks like that. And then I'm going to save it. So what I've got is essentially my index page and my coffee details page. So these are the two pages that are important to this site right now. And I've got to amend this obviously because I don't want all of the things that are currently on that page. But even though it looks pants, I've still got my logo, I've got my header, I've got some sort of, oh, I didn't put my navigation in yet, I'll come to that. And I've got all these images going down the page. But my drafting, this was for my home page. Okay, so, oops, hang on a minute. I've done these, I've done the footer, I've got this in, I haven't got my banner and I haven't got my navigation in, but I've got this bit. But let's have a look at the next page. I'm having a few problems with my mouse, I have to keep smashing it down on the table. Let's have a look at that. That's a mock-up for page 2. Remember this block diagram that you would have in your NEA to kind of show what you're doing. So this stuff's going to stay, isn't it? This is all kind of the same as the home page, and then I only need one big image and some information, and then my footer's going to stay the same. So rather than sort of typing everything out again, I'm keeping this page where it is. But I just want to get rid of some of these articles. I'll keep one article in and I'll just get rid of the rest. I don't need them. I definitely don't. So I've taken out all the articles because remember there was like loads of little images there, and I'm just deleting those. And so this section is here, and I've got my footer still left in, and I've got all the stuff at the top of the document left in. The text has to change. But for now, I'm building up a page and I'm kind of copying over what I've already done because there's no need to type it all up again. Let's just have a look at it. So the top bits are all the same. It's only got one article in there at the moment and one massive big picture that hasn't been formatted yet. And if I scroll down, the footer is still there. So the footer starts here. And this is going to be a button eventually, and this is an image caption and a link to this page in fact. Okay, so this bit might change as well actually, the very top bit of the page, because remember this was supposed to be together side by side, and I might not have that there, but essentially I do have the layout of the page kind of already done. So let's go and start changing this coffee details page. Obviously my title is going to change on the page. I'm going to my body. Like, I'm not touching my header because I want those to stay the same on every page. So let's just go down to the section bit of the page. Okay, so this isn't going to be called welcome text anymore. Let's have something different actually. Let's call this coffee details. Okay, so I've got a coffee details page. I want a header class there. I want a header in there. So let's actually make some text, shall we? Oh, I can see something's not going to be right there. Let me just open up my index page. So I've got that here. I think I made a mistake. Header, that's that header, It could have been where I, yeah, look. I think I should have closed my header. It's a bit naughty. There, that's it, span. So I didn't close that header tag. So I didn't notice that. That does sometimes happen. Didn't have much of an impact on the page because HTML, the browser, kind of fixes certain things for us. But we've got to be careful about things like that. Right, so for this one then, I'm going to do a header. I'm going to have that formatted slightly differently so that I can have these block headers when I want them. And let's just have some formatting specifically for this. So we'll do like that. Yeah, let me get rid of all of this then. I don't really need that on there. Let's just keep that down there for a minute. So I've added this coffee details section. I've got headers in now. What is going on? I've got a header class. Done something wrong here? No. My section there. So can you see that I didn't put my quotes around that, which is why it didn't recognize my header. So as I'm going along, I'm checking, and you can certainly, even with your Python, you know, when little things like this happen, you think, oh, hang on, that doesn't look right. You need to amend it and screen dump, because this is prototype. Right, I don't need these because I haven't got any bulleted lists, but what I do want is my figure. Okay, so I want to keep this going, this section. I don't want to end it there. Let me just have my figure here. You notice now I'm starting to delete elements that I don't really need. So let me just make sure my section ends where this one starts. So for this new page, I've got my heading. Ouch. And I've closed it. Then I'm going to have a figure, and this time I'm going to format that eventually, because these images are going to be slightly bigger on this page. So I'm going to have product article, but instead of name, as you can see here, I want larger, bigger. That's what I'm going to name this one, so that anytime I do this on a page, it will recognize it. So let's have a little look at changing my image tag a little bit, just to show you some different things that you can do. So in this case now, I want my image ID. I'm going to give it an ID, and this is coffee1, and the class is going to help me to format it. So I've already got product image larger figure, okay, because it's going to stick to that formatting that I give that. And then I want my src, which is where is it going to be? It's going to be in my images folder, and it's actually called coffee1. Now I can have two images that it refers to. It's actually quite big, this image. I don't think that's the name of it exactly. So for the thumbnails, I'm going to force the image to be a little bit smaller. But because this image is already, I think it's already quite big, so I don't need to play about with it. I might need to make a smaller image though, you know that. So where am I? I'm just going to change the name here to make sure it's exactly the right name, and it was. So let's close that. That's the name of my image. And I haven't done so yet, so let's add a caption to the image. Figure caption. Oh, sorry, fig. It should be fig caption. That's right. That's why I didn't recognize it. There it is. Fig caption equals, let's call it coffee1, and let's close that fig caption tag there. Don't have to equals because it's actually a tag, so we'll just call it coffee1. My figure's already ended there. Let's just make sure that's that one. The fig caption's there. Image ID is there. And did I end the section yet? Let's take that out. Let's take that out. There's no article now. Yeah, and that's the end of that section. So you can see how you just start playing around. You just don't have to retype everything. You're just kind of really amending some things, you know, to suit the page essentially. Alright, so I've got my image on one side, and on the right hand side of that image I'm going to want the coffee description, right? So I'm going to format that in a certain way. So product can't spell, article content. So let's just make a divider for that. P class, let's call it product article product, article. These names are important because you're gonna be formatting them with these names. This is the text for this. I guess you could do this as you're going along. I normally would do, but just because I'm doing this for you, I'm doing the layout first and then going back. So product, article. Sometimes I can't show you because this video window that I've got, it's actually really frustrating when you're trying to demonstrate something. But if I've already talked about this thing before, if I've already set it up, it should, can you see, it does actually see things. And if, oh, she's done that before, that's really useful to pick up on, because it helps you to not make mistakes, basically. So I'm going to close that div as well. So I've essentially set up here, let's find that image again. Oh, it's too big, oh, it's frustrating. Yeah, so I've got the image and there's going to be a caption there and the product article details, and I've already got the footer underneath. And then this stuff we haven't put in yet, but this bit there should be there. It's not going to be in a good format yet because I've not, all these things I'm defining at the moment, I've not formatted them with CSS. That's going to get done in a separate document. This section here, so I've got a random section break I don't need, a section div closing tag I don't need, but everything else should be good. Yeah. Alright, so you see as I'm holding on to it, I can show you that I've got an opening and closing tag. This is something that you sometimes should check, because when things ain't working right, that's what you need to do. You check your opening and closing tags and you realise that's what's gone wrong. Alright, so to start with, this is not as busy, this page. Let's get, what was it, coffee details. So it should, yeah, that's all good. It's got its heading, it's got its, this is part of the header, it's got the coffee, and then it's got the text, it's got the image and the caption, and then you're back down to your footer. So soon enough it's going to start to come together. So what I want to show you is we've laid out the page, we put the image on the page,